Paulo Costa was scheduled to fight Jared Cannonier in a main event fight later this year, or so we thought. Paulo Costa himself announced that he is unhappy with his contract after seeing how much Logan Paul, a YouTuber, made in his most recent boxing fight against Floyd Mayweather, which was estimated at about $20 million, by the way. Costa explained on Twitter that if the UFC wants him to be fighting in main events, then they have to pay him as a main event fighter. He says YouTubers are showing all disgrace to this business. Costa claims that he never signed the contract to face Cannonier, and he is confused why the UFC confirmed the fight anyways. He also goes on to say that getting paid less than $350,000 is a joke. The UFC then responded by booking Jared Cannonier versus Kelvin Gastelum for later this year. Paulo Costa did clarify his comments in an Instagram post. He wrote this: "Hey folks, I'm here to clarify. I have been working so hard to come and make a great show for the fans next against a great UFC name in a similar position as me. I am the number 2 top ranked, but they keep insisting on paying me even less than some unranked fighters. That is so unfair, and I'm a guy who people want to see fighting. I believe this is very bad for the sport, and fans lost some good fights that were supposed to happen. I'll be training hard as always to make that vicious fight that people love to watch." Dana White held back no punches with his response, basically telling Costa to fight out his contract, then he can leave and do whatever he wants to do. Here's a clip of Dana going off on Costa from TSN.
Yeah, I don't know if, I don't think that's true. I think he did sign because we extended him. We extended his contract for turning down the fight. But listen, don't fight. I have to offer you 3 fights a year. This is my situation with all these guys. I offer you 3 fights a year. He doesn't have to fight. No problem. Don't fight. Yeah. Guess what? You should have started a YouTube channel when you were 13 years old and built your name up and everything else, and you could have had the fight on Saturday night. But you didn't. You're not a YouTuber. You're a fighter, and this is what you do for a living. Or you don't. It's up to you. And you're in no position to be talking about crazy money after your last performance. Okay? So you either want to fight or you don't want to fight. No problem. You don't want to fight, you can hang out and do whatever you want. When you're ready, you let me know. Let me tell you what, you know what I say all the time. We have fights every weekend. And if you want to be busy, you know, you can fight every weekend if you want to. Get out of your contract and go do whatever you want to do. Go fight. You can go fight YouTubers. You can do whatever you want.
Would you let him out of his contract if that's what he wanted to do?
Sure, he can fight his way out of his contract. He has a contract.
So fight it out. I understand.
Their contracts just because they want, you know, they're mad that a YouTube kid is fighting and making money. You should be happy for the kid. Good for him. Kid put himself in a position to where he was able to fight Floyd Mayweather and make a bunch of money. You're mad? You just came off a ridiculous, horrible performance. Come back and put yourself in a position to do something big.
Now, Paulo Costa wasn't the only fighter that thought the Floyd vs. Logan salary was shocking. Heavyweight champion Francis Ngannou tweeted, "It's crazy to think that Logan Paul, 0-1, just made $20 million on a boxing exhibition. What are we doing wrong?" UFC bantamweight Brian Kelleher tweeted asking if there's any YouTubers out there willing to fight him any weight class. He fears that he will have to work at Walmart after he retires from MMA at this rate. Our next story comes from Daniel Cormier, who reacted to Floyd Mayweather vs. Logan Paul that happened this past weekend. Cormier says that Floyd fought Logan the same way that he fought Conor McGregor, and that was trying to play the fatigue game. Speaking on the DCN Helwani show, Cormier goes on to say that Floyd being unable to knock out Logan Paul gives a bad look for Conor and the sport of MMA. Here's him explaining what he said.
What I was saying to you was that you're right, Ariel. Weight classes matter, but you could see when Floyd would kind of get close and he would dig body shots on Paul, you could see how much they affected him. He threw one real good left body shot, and you saw Logan Paul grimace and try to grab Floyd. So I feel like Floyd maybe couldn't have knocked him out to the head, but I feel like if he would have made a bigger investment into the body, he would have got that kid out of here a long time ago. I thought after the 5th round, Logan Paul, he wanted to quit, but it was on Floyd to go out there and just give him a little bit more in order to show him the door, and Floyd never did that. I wholeheartedly agree with you that if there is a winner and a loser in this, it was Floyd Mayweather, because you don't have a guy stand and go 8 rounds with you when you are who you are. Even at 44, it does not happen. Now let me say this. This to me is No good. And it's no good for more reasons than one. I truly believe that when you watch that, right, and you watch Floyd go 8 rounds with this kid, and this kid didn't fatigue as much as Floyd maybe anticipated, he couldn't get him out of there. When we sent our guy over there to fight in the boxing match against Floyd, our guy fatigued, and that's where he got finished. But it's almost like you watch and times you see Floyd fighting him in the way that he fought against Conor. So it does not bode well for Floyd, but it also makes mixed martial arts look a little bit worse, because do you have to question whether or not Floyd was carrying McGregor into the later rounds and Conor fatigued and this Paul kid didn't?
Our next story comes from Ariel Helwani, whose 3-year run with ESPN is coming to an end. Ariel posted a video announcing his departure on his social medias. Here's what he had to say.
I just wanted to share some personal news, as people like to say on social media these days. June 15th, which is, I believe, next Tuesday, will be my last day at ESPN. It's been an amazing 3 years. I know a lot of you have heard me talk ad nauseum over the past 3 years and a little bit before how much working for ESPN has meant to me, how it was honestly a dream come true. It's just been a great 3-year run, and so I want to let you know that there's no hard feelings here. ESPN did offer me a new contract. I signed for 3 years back in 2018. They offered me a new contract. I was given the opportunity to look at what was out there for me, and I found a lot of exciting opportunities and a lot of things that I think the fans will really like and be pumped about, as I am as well. I'm not quite ready to announce that, so I hope that you are okay with that. I just wanted to let you all know that, June 15th, which is rapidly approaching, it's in 9 days, will be my last day at ESPN.
The New York Post reported that ESPN offered Ariel a 10% pay cut from his original wage. Ariel signed a 3-year deal worth $500,000 back in 2018, so naturally, Ariel declined the offer and they followed up with a 5% pay cut instead, which was declined as well. The article goes on to say that Helwani is heavily linked with the gambling site Action Network and could be signing $1 million deal to make it his new home. Our next story comes from Luke Rockhold, who is making a return to middleweight and has his sights set on the belt. Speaking to Brett Okamoto, Rockhold says that Israel Adesanya is beatable in so many ways after watching his fight with Jan Blachowicz. Here's what he had to say.
You say you want to come back for a championship. I mean, is that your goal? Are you looking at Izzy? And on top of that, why did you not watch that fight? If you're thinking about coming back and that's the middleweight champion, how come you didn't watch it?
I kind of knew what was already going to happen. I kind of knew what was already possible when it happened. It's just like, I don't even need to see it to know it. I've been in there with Jan, and, Jan's like, he's good from that. He's all right from the outside. He's not that great. I just overshot my load and came in too hard with the takedown, but really, he's not that fast, and he's pretty good on the outside. He's got a weird, awkward kind of striking style, but he's so big and strong. That's and then he can play in the takedowns, and so I thought Israel could win an outside fight, but if Jan got in like he did, that would be the recipe. I know what Israel's capable. I've been studying Israel for a long time, and I appreciate his style. I think he's beatable in so many ways. Fighting him from the outside, I don't think many guys can fight him from the outside like I can. And if I just stay relaxed and stay on the outside, it's like, yeah, it's a game that I can play. And then if we go into the takedowns, we'll do a lot better than Jan did. I'll tell you that. If there's nobody better than me on top. If I get on top of somebody, I don't care who it is, it's going to be a short night for anybody. The division's right for the taking, and yes, I mean Israel's he's what motivates me right now, and everybody else is in the way.
That about wraps up the video, guys. Leave a like if you made it this far and if you enjoyed the video. But anyways, have a great day and enjoy fight week. Peace.